All right, let's talk about one of the biggest headaches for any local service business trying to use Google Ads. We're going to break down broad, phrase, and exact match keywords and really get to the bottom of what actually works to get you real jobs, not just a bunch of useless clicks.
So, does this sound familiar? You're putting good money into Google Ads. You can see the clicks are coming in, the budget is definitely getting spent, but your phone isn't ringing. Or at least not with new customers. And you're just left scratching your head, wondering where all that money is going.
Well, here's the tough truth. You are not alone. And the reason is almost always the same thing. Your ad budget is being burned on the wrong kind of traffic. The people clicking your ads, they aren't the people you're trying to reach. And it all boils down to a huge change in how Google Ads operates. So, to really understand why this is happening, we've got to look at the single biggest shift that's happened in Google Ads over the last few years. It's this move away from the literal words you bid on to something much, much fuzzier. Say, it used to be pretty straightforward. You'd tell Google, hey, only show my ad when someone types these specific words. Simple. But now, Google's AI has gotten so smart that it doesn't just match words anymore. Nope. It tries to match the meaning or the intent behind the search. Google is basically trying to guess what the user really wants, no matter what they actually typed. And this one idea, search intent, well, it's everything now. When Google tries to match the meaning of a search, it can be amazing. But for a local service business, it can also be incredibly dangerous for your budget if you don't know how to keep it in check. Honestly, this change is the root cause of most wasted ad spend today. The good news is you're not totally helpless here. Google gives us 3 tools to manage this whole thing. They're officially called match types, but it's way, way easier to just think of them as gates that you get to control. Just picture this. There's a huge river of search traffic flowing by. Each match type is a gate of a different size. You can throw the gate wide open and let absolutely everyone in. Or you can narrow it down to a tiny opening that only lets the absolute best, most qualified people through. The choice you make here decides the quality of every single click you pay for. So how do these gates work? Well, first you have broad match. This is the widest gate you can possibly have. You're basically giving Google total freedom to show your ad for any search it thinks is kinda sorta related. As you can guess, this gives you the least amount of control. Then there's phrase match. This is like a medium-sized gate. It shows your ad for searches that include the meaning of your keyword, but it's still pretty loose. And finally, we have exact match. This is your narrowest, most protective gate. This gives you the most control, and it's supposed to show your ad only for searches that are super, super close to your keyword. Okay, so theory is one thing. But what does this look like when it goes wrong in the real world? Let me tell you a quick story that perfectly shows how leaving the gate wide open can absolutely drain your budget with completely useless phone calls. This comes from a real campaign for a motorcycle insurance company. For years, their ads worked great. Then, all of a sudden, after Google made that shift to matching meaning, the client started getting all these angry, confused phone calls. People were calling them, all right, but they were looking for a totally different company. So they dug into their reports to see what was going on, and they were just horrified. Google was showing their ad to people searching for their competitors by name, even for things like competitors' customer service number. I mean, the search intent here is crystal clear, right? These people are already customers of another company. They just need help. They are the absolute last people on earth who are going to buy a new insurance policy. And yet, this client was paying for every single one of those mistaken clicks and angry phone calls. And the reason this disaster happened? You guessed it. Their keywords were set to broad match. They had the gate thrown wide open. They trusted Google's AI to find them new customers, but instead, it found them someone else's unhappy customers. They gave Google way too much freedom, and it cost them a fortune. Okay, so this brings us to the most important question for any service business. How do you avoid this nightmare? How do you set up your gates to protect your budget and make sure you're only getting qualified leads? You really have 2 choices here. On one side, you have what we'll call the high-reach strategy, using broad match. This is often the one Google itself pushes you towards. The pro? Sure, you'll get a ton of traffic. The con, as we just saw, is that a lot of it can be completely irrelevant. On the other side, you have the high control strategy, using mainly exact match. You'll get less traffic overall, but the quality of that traffic is going to be so much higher. And this is the bottom line, right here. If you're an e-commerce store selling, I don't know, a $20 t-shirt, maybe that high-reach strategy makes sense.
But for a roofer, a plumber, an electrician, one bad lead doesn't just waste a few bucks on an ad click, it wastes your valuable time on the phone. Quality will always, always beat quantity for you. So let's wrap this all up with a really simple, practical game plan. A defensive strategy you can use right now to take back control of your ad spend and make sure you're only paying for clicks that can actually turn into jobs. So here's your playbook. Number 1, start with the narrowest gate. Take your most important, your money-making keywords and set them to exact match. This forces Google to only show your ads to people searching for pretty much exactly what you do. 2, you need to become a detective. You have to get obsessed with your search terms report. Check it at least once a week to see the actual searches people typed to trigger your ads. You will be shocked by what you find in there. And 3, use that report to build your block list. Any search that is irrelevant, you add it as a negative keyword. That permanently stops you from wasting money on it ever again. Just remember, the goal of your Google Ads was never just to get a bunch of clicks. It was, and it always should be, to make your phone ring with qualified customers who are actually ready to hire you. Everything else is just noise. So if this breakdown was helpful, if this kind of made sense to you, and you're looking for more of these no-fluff strategies to get real results, you'll probably like what we have coming up next. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We are all about cutting through the jargon and just delivering clear, actionable advice that's specifically designed for service business owners like you who just need their marketing to work. This explainer was brought to you by Proper Marketers. We specialize in helping service businesses turn confusing platforms like Google Ads into a predictable source of real calls and actual booked jobs. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.